Oh. 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 Sairam auntie, auntie, can I request you if you would like to just present some summary points and then we get started if it is okay, auntie?
Sai Satish. I think Kalyani can do a better job than me. Let Kalyani do. Kalyani, please go ahead. Unmute yourself, please, Kalyani.
Sairam auntie, I'm also, let's see, I'm not sure if I can do a good summary.
Yeah. You can do whatever you know it.
I think last time we spoke about Sattvic, Rajasic, and Tamasic charity. The charity that was Rajasic was charity that we do with the view to, I think, like for name and fame, or because other people have pressured us, or because other people were watching and then we regret it later. I think Tamasic charity is when we do it kind of with a feeling of almost like disgust or not even wanting to do the charity, but we just feel forced to do it. And then Sattvic charity is when we do charity just for the sake of
God's grace.
Yeah.
Those who expect only God's grace, such charity is Sattvic.
And then Arjuna had asked Krishna to talk to him about the Sattvic nature of listening and the Sattvic nature of seeing. So that's where now we're going to read Krishna's response.
Yeah. This Shravana Sattvamo, Drishti Sattvamo. This one, no? That's where we have to start.
Yes.
So far we have learned Mano Sattvamo, Sattvic nature of the mind, Vak, Sattvic nature of the speech, Deha Sattvamo, Sattvic nature of the body, and Danavattvamo, demonic nature. So Swami has been talking about all these things. Now, Arjuna wants to know Shravana Sattvamo, what is Sattvic hearing, what is Sattvic listening, and what is Sattvic drishti, vision. He wants to know. So that is how Arjuna is asking this question to Krishna, and Krishna is going to answer in these following paragraphs. Saira.
Narmata, are you able to read today?
Sure. Krishna patted Arjuna on the back. He said, Sattvic listening is listening to the stories, experiences, and messages of sages and saints who aspired after God and realized Him. Sattvic seeing is seeing the worshippers of the Lord, seeing the portraits of saints and sages, attending festivals in temples, etc. Rajasic seeing is seeing scenes of luxury pictures of sensuous joy, of pompous pageantry, of the exhibition of power and status and display of egoistic authority. Taking delight in the description of sensuous scenes and incidents, in the demonstration of power and authority, in the assertion of might and powers. These are to be classified as Rajasic listening. Others take delight in listening to gruesome adventures, stories of wicked orgs and vicious deeds. Such are tamasic individuals. They admire cruelty and terrifying tactics, and they take pleasure in keeping such pictures before them. They worship demonic, bloodthirsty gods, and they revel in the lure of ghosts and evil forces.
Yeah. Shall I read the Telugu, Kalyani? It starts with Bhagavad Aradukulanu, Bhagavad Chitramulanu. This is the Sattvic listening Swami is, Krishna is going to tell. Bhagavad Aradakulanu, Bhagavad Chitramulanu, Bhagavad Swarupa Shilanu, Sattvika Margamuna Prabharintu Sadhanalu, Salupu Mahani. Oh, it's a long sentence. Let me break it up. Bhagavad Aradakulanu, those who worship the Lord. Bhagavad Chitramulanu, pictures of the Lord. And Bhagavad Swarupa Shilalanu, his Swarupa, so Bhagavan Swarupa, which is in the idols. Sattvika Margamana Pravarintu Sadhanalu, those who are following the Sattvic way in their sadhanas, such Mahaniyalanu, such great persons, to see them. And Attivari Katalanu Vinuta, to listen to their stories. And Attivari Chitramulanu, Swarupamulanu, Pratimalanu, Inti Endu Anchukota. So, to keep such great personalities, Chitra are the pictures or their idols in individuals' homes. Ividamaina, Chupulu, Shravanamalu, Sattvikmulagunu, such kinds of looking at these things, it becomes Sattvic. And it is a Sattvic Shravana. Listening also it becomes. Vilasa Drushyamalu, entertaining desire scenes. Vilasa Chitramulu Chuchuta. And to see such entertaining movies or pictures also, Vatini Gurinchi Vinuta Kani. And such people who talk about those things, those entertainment, providing entertainment. Adambaramato, they show off. Adhikarola went to Tiruguta. They go after the big officers. Attivarito Cherna Chitrapatamulu Varninsuta. And they take photographs with such great persons and then show it off. Atti Chitramule Intilo Yetuchushina Pradarshanchukani. Wherever you see at home, you see only those pictures which great personalities, the pictures taken and their entertainment. Anaga Vilasa, Adambara, Ahankara. These are all showing their showing off qualities, and then their Ahankara, their egos, and Adhikara Chitramulu. Chuchutakani, such to see such pictures. Puja Gruhamalandu Unchutakani, to keep such photographs in their mandir. Rajasika Maguno, this is called Rajasika. Rajasika Drishti. Ika Durmarga, those who follow the evil paths. Durachara, those who are practicing evil practices. Krura Vishayamulanu. It's a very, very Krura means with thumb. Such Vishayamulanu Binutakani. Listening to stories which you should not listen. And then Chuchutakani, to see them, Attivaralto, Sambhashinchutakani, to talk to them. Even to talk to them is bad. Attivari Chitramulno, Inti endu Unchukonutakani, to keep such pictures at home. Bhuta Preta Pishacharadulnukani. Sometimes people worship this Bhuta, this Preta, Pishacha, such tamasic things which they do. It is called Tamasika Shravana Drushyamulaguno. To see them is called Tamasika Shravana. Demonic pictures, wicked pictures. I think she stopped there. Yeah.
Auntie, is it specifically saying in the puja room people keep such pictures?
Yeah, it is in Swami's this thing. He says, this line tells you. Just I read it. Bhagat Suran. అట్టివారి కథలను వారి చిత్రమును స్వరూపమును ఇంటి ప్రతిమలను ఇంటి యందు ఉంచుకుట. I think I read it.
You had mentioned Puja Grihamlo.
Yeah, Puja Griham. అధికార చిత్రములో చూచుట కానీ పూజా గృహములందు ఉంచుట కానీ, to keep them in the Puja Griha, that is your mandir there, where we do worship. So many people do that, they take photographs with great personalities and they keep it in their worship, in the rooms, and then they worship them. So Swami is saying they're all tamasic nature.
So meaning like people who are of high position or authority, or like spiritually eminent, spiritual people, or why do they keep them in the puja room? That's what I wonder.
No, some people take great pride in exposing their photographs with great personalities, saying that I know this person, I am so familiar with this person. So just to boost up their ego. Such people are there. I don't think it is Swami is mentioning here about spiritual great personalities like sages and saints. I don't think he is mentioning it here. Isn't it, Sai Satish?
Yes, Auntie. I think those days, of course, it would come to paintings. So painters would just have the portraits of people with kings and other kind of a thing. So I think it's more referring to, tell me your company, I shall tell you what you are. So if it is like aiming for power and position, then obviously those kind of things will be either painted or captured. And sometimes it's more like that hero worship kind of a thing. And people would even keep that just to show, or if you want to extend it, like if you have certain tantric rites and certain other things, people may be even doing that kind of stuff where they may be even looking at, you have certain things like this black magic kind of thing and other things. So those are extreme kind of things where again people start praying to those kind of demigods or deities kind, which leads one astray. So it's more in that context. And for people, I think it just boils down to like yata drishti tata srishti kind of a thing. But at the same time, what we see is what we become, and what we keep company is with what we ultimately become one with by continuous recognition. So that way, I think this whole part, Swami is going on saying what kind of things we should be looking at, what are the things we should be listening to. And by continuously looking at the pictures of God and godly, and by listening to satsangs such as these, it keeps reinforcing on the sattvic nature and move forward. Whereas the other association with power or even more tamasic ones like the ones mentioned here, like bloodthirsty gods, those comes to certain rituals where people offer like bali kind of a thing for giving something, for getting those which are again leading one more away from the path of spirituality.
And coming to that, obviously it is Swami, what she means is, some people are so fond of their sports hero. They worship them. Actually, I have seen people keeping the photograph of their favorite sports person and worshipping him in a picture. His picture is being worshipped at homes. And I have seen in South India, especially the great cinema actors, they keep their pictures, and then they say, they claim that I know this Gemini Ganeshan, Shivaji Ganeshan, this one and that one, and they take great delight in saying that. So and they go to the extent of fighting with others, the other group, if they don't agree with whatever your favorite star is, if they don't agree with that person, that other opposition party, they will fight, and then some deaths also have taken place, I have heard. Yeah, some deaths have also taken place because of their hero worship. One is a hero for them, and then the other person doesn't like it, and then they there's a clash among such people. So Swami obviously is mentioning about such things, Rajasic drishti and Rajasic listening.
Would they actually keep those photos in the puja room? Or
I don't exactly know whether the put it in the puja room, but I have seen people keeping their favorite stars from the movies. They will keep it in a drawing room or anywhere everybody can see.
And just to add to that, I think like what Auntie was saying, I think sometimes what Swami is referring to is making them so honorary, like so worthy of worship. That's where they leave that exalted position to, because certain of these people, like literally they do this. Some of the movies thing, they garland the cutouts. They do even like an abhishekam, literally. That kind of a thing they do. So what Swami is trying to refer is where people stretch it to a level of literally taking that person and treating them as God, which is where it is completely misleading.
I think so.
Yeah.
I have heard there is a temple in South India for a particular Tamil star. I have heard that there is a particular temple and his idol is placed there. And as I was saying, Abhishekam is also being done, and then Aarti and then Nevedyam, everything is being done there. Yes. They go to such extent.
I think Sakku Auntie has her hand up. So
yeah, Sakku Auntie.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, I can't see you.
Yeah. Oh, okay, you can see me now. I want to know, in some of the people, the believers of Kali, sometimes, most of the times, they want to offer blood to Kali by sacrificing creation of God, such as birds, animals, and even human beings. I don't think Kali Mahadeva Devi has requested, but the people are doing it. That is tamasic. That comes under tamasic, right?
Yes, of course, of course. It's demonic, actually. It's demonic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Auntie, I think Aruna's sister has.
Sai Ram, brother, Sai Ram, Auntie. Here the demonic nature is like we are offering this talking about the blood of some like birds and animals offering, but that's a misunderstanding of ourself of offering, right? So we learned before, we have to offer the animal quality within us.
Yeah.
That is what was asked to do. So the people misinterpret and they're killing something else and making sin over that. That doesn't mean that we sacrifice those birds or animals like that. But I'm thinking the Rajastic thing, how they worship the heroes of the like a sports, and somebody they think they believe that they are in a higher status. That is their way of, they wanted to be like that. That is something goes along with their name and fame. They are running behind of it. So that comes under Rajastic. That's how I am looking at it. With the bad qualities within us only, Krishna is trying to say, you can be a Sattvic person without any kind of bad quality within you. So whoever exhibiting that, with the nature of exhibit the negative quality, it was categorized as a Rajastic and Tamasic kind of. I'm taking that like that. Thank you, Sai Ram.
Yes, Aruna, what you said about, we have to sacrifice our animal nature. Instead of that, we are sacrificing of animals, cutting them. That's not, and nowadays I think it is all, those practices were prevalent in those days.
No, Auntie, still is prevalent. I know in Sri Lanka, one of the temple, they still do it. One temple I know, but in India I doesn't know.
No,
But
the government has to bring about some kind of law or something like that to
yeah.
stop such practices.
That's a misunderstanding. You know how they misunderstood like killing you within you
Yeah.
animal quality. They are
Kalima
trying to kill some.
is fond of blood, and these are all man-made. We
Yes,
have
all
made
man-made.
our own rules, all man-made. And regarding the Rajasic listening is also wrong. Swami is saying it is Rajasic drishti or Rajasic listening is wrong. Even though to worship whoever he might like, and putting up the picture of that person, and then actually it is worshipping them only. They go to the extent.
Yeah, they are running behind the name and fame. That's about it. So that shows your bad quality there, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Sairam.
Sairam.
And just to add to that, Auntie, so I think even uh, when Buddha came along, one of the main reasons for Buddha to propagate his teachings was based on the fact at that time, I think the traditions had got so mired in all of the sacrifices that a great extent of animal sacrifice, sometimes those days it would even go to human sacrifice. And that is where Buddha came in to tell again exactly what you were telling, sister, and what Swami has been telling again, time and again, that it's about sacrificing animal qualities and not the animal per se. But then if we look at it in a current frame of things, I know we go to Kashi and we are supposed to offer the things that we like the most. But then what do people let go there? People usually go there and let go of bitter God, right? So the whole purpose of the exercise is when we go to some like this pilgrimage, we are able to give away one of our most fond desires so that we are able to put ceiling on desires and put a ceiling on ourselves. But then every time the thing is, can I give away something in physical rather than give away something in mental level? Because I think the inner enemy has to be conquered rather than the outside one. But usually it is always focused on the external. So if I offer an animal, or if I offer, in our case, maybe we become a little more sattvic in our offering. We don't offer animal, we offer coconut. We'll say, oh, Ganesha, I will break these many coconuts.
Yeah.
And then you please do this for me. So it's the same thing. It's not as bad as the animal, but at the same time, again, it is transactional. And that is where Swami is saying, like, to not have that kind of a transactional relationship. It should go beyond asking for material benefits, but ask for God Himself, that kind of, because here, when people see the pictures of saints and sages, they see the trials and tribulations that each one of them had gone through repeatedly in life. It was not a bed of roses for them. And still, despite that, every time a challenge was posed, how they held on, continuously keeping their focus on God and striving to attain Him and see Him in their thing. Literally, every story of a saint and sage, you'll see the difficulty. So that is what it will inspire in the person. So surrounding ourselves in that company and listening to their stories will what will truly drive us to also take on challenges that we face in our day-to-day life and inspire us to hold on to Swami in all circumstances. So that's what we can really get out of it.
Yes.
Anyone else has any other points just to share? Auntie, if there's nothing else, should we continue?
We can continue. We can continue.
Thank you.
Narmada, is it reading? Yeah.
Yeah. Dear reader, this is the heart of the teaching of the Bhagavad Gita. The body and life in it are based on food, and they are sustained by food, anna. So, food decides the level of attainment, high or low. Nowadays, emphasis is being laid on discipline and regular behavior, nishta, without reference to the nashta, food. However great and learned a person may be, however much he pays attention to the teachings of the Vedanta and takes care to spread them, if he neglects the strict code laid down for the food, that is the very basis of the body and its functions, he cannot succeed. The purity of the provisions of the cook and of those who serve what has been prepared, these are not attended to. They feel content when their stomachs are filled, when hunger is appeased. The first temple they visit when dawn breaks is the restaurants, where idli and sambar are offered to the Atmaratma. Atmarama. How can such gourmands get concentration? Purity in cooking, purity in provisions, and purity of service, how can these be guaranteed in restaurants? Who pays attention to these? Without doing this, people complain loud that they do not get success in concentration and suffer greater confusion. The effect will be secured only when the proper causes functions well. When bitter things are cooked, how can the final dish be sweet?
Yeah. So Swami is coming now to that food, whatever food we take, we become that. That's what Swami is trying to tell us. I will read out in Telugu. Patakulara, dear readers, Swarupamunaku ee vishayamunu gunde vantidiga unnado. It looks as if it's a very hard teaching of Bhagavad Gita. Annagata pranamaina ee kayamunaku anname. So, we are depending, this sharira, this body is dependent on the food that is offered to it. It is sustained by it. So, athama uttama sthanamulno andinchuchunnadi. The same food can take you to a very higher status in your life, or it can bring you down, pull you down. So, it occupies such a very important place, food. Uttamagatini pondu koruvaru, those who want to reach the highest goal. Kevalamu sadhanamu nishtule pradhamuga patinchuta. Sadhana nishtale, the regulated behavior, what is it called? Regulated nishta, discipline. The discipline which is laid down by our scriptures, those who follow them. Loka paripatai nashta nishtanu chudakunda. So what they do is they forget about this nishta, but they go to nashta. Nashta is food, that's breakfast or lunch or whatever is called nashta. Dinini patti sadhana nishta kantenu nashta nishta pradhanamga teliyuchunnadi. It looks as if it is more, we are more we are more worried about the nashta rather than the nishta. So, etti mahaniyulainano, whoever might be a great person, maha panditulainano, great pandits, Vedanta prabodha pracharvalne adharamuga cheskoni, those who spread the messages of Vedanta also sadhanalu salpchunnaru. They are doing their sadhana by spreading the messages of Vedanta. Ahara vishamilnu patinchutaledu, but they are not giving proper attention to the food items. E kalamuna, in these days, padartha shuddhi gani, the purity of the things what we cook, patra shuddhi, or the vessels, the cleanliness of the vessels or purity of the vessels. Vanduvari shuddhi gani, those who serve the food or those who cook the food. They are not looking at these things. Kadupu ninduta, filling your stomach, akali tiruta, your hunger, gratifying your hunger, pradhanamuga patinchunaru. That is what is taken care of. That's most important for him. Tellavaragane, in the morning, right in the morning. Madati Aradhana, the first thing what we do, what is coffee, hotel lo idli sambar, Atma Ramanaku Nevedyam. First we go to restaurants and have idli sambar, and then we are offering to the Atma Rama. That means we are satisfying our hunger and itti tindi potulaku ekagrata etlu kudurnu. How can you expect for such a person to get concentration? Patra Shuddhi, the purity of the vessel. Paka Shuddhi, the purity of the things cooked. Padartha Shuddhi, the ingredients, the purity of the ingredients. Coffee hotel lo etlu dorukuno. How will you get it in a coffee hotel? వాటిని విచారించువారెవరు? Who is going to inquire about them? వాటిని విచారించక ఆచరించుట చేతనే, because we don't inquire into these things, ఏకాగ్రత లేదని వెన్ని కేకలతో బుర్రలు చేర్చుకున్నారు. So such persons, they say that we don't have any concentration, and వెన్ని కేకులతో, I don't understand what is it. Venni kekulu ante. Exactly, I don't know that word. Burrallu means head. They are worrying about their heads, and they are filling these unnecessary items in their heads. So cheyavalsinadi sariga cheppinappude ravalsina pavitrata vachunu. When you do things which are you are supposed to do, then you will get the results, the pure results you will get. Kani asalu cheyutlone chedu padarthamaina teepi ruchi etlundunu. When you are doing a bitter dish, but how can you expect it to be sweet? It cannot be. We use the word nasta for, I think we use the word nasta for breakfast. Swami is using it as instead of nishta, it is nasta, which are more worried about.
In the English translation, it says that nowadays emphasis is laid on the discipline, nishta, without reference to nashta. But I think in the Telugu,
and same. Nashta nishtanu chudakunda. Loka paripatai. The sentence goes like this, Nishtule pradhanamuga patinchuta loka paripatai. Nashta nishtanu chudakunda alavatainadi. The reference emphasis is laid on nasta, not laid. It is without reference to nashta. They are paying attention to regulated behavior.
Okay.
Yeah. Mainly, what Swami means is, you're not paying attention to food what you are taking. Food, you take all sorts of food and then expect the higher discipline to be in that person. It cannot go together.
Sairam.
Sairam.
How practically it will be viable, Yildi, for us, Yildi, early in the morning, Yildi, all the people when they go to work, Yildi, I thought to satisfy the Atma Rama, we all would be running to Tim Hortons, Yildi, in the morning when we go to the office. Certainly, Yildi, our Abat Bandhavan would be the Tim Hortons for Canadians, especially. So, the Swami is telling that maybe Patra Shuddhi, Paha Shuddhi, and the Padartha Shuddhi, if we take all these into the practical application, then if we don't carry with us anything, or even if we are in the travel or something, then we would be starving. The Swami also says that if we are starving, then everything it would be, we cannot focus on concentration or even in the, praying also, we wouldn't be able to. That's why Swami says, even at Patti, old people, they have to eat something. That's the intention of Swami with several canteen or the ashram, free food and all those things. So I'm thinking that how practically we can apply Swami's teaching on our day-to-day activity, or how we have to interpret Swami's saying on this one, because we have to strictly apply, we have to carry with us all the time, the food with us when we go to work or the different places, or whether there are some sort of the alternatives, or maybe so some sort of suggestion, or how to improve on this part, the application of Swami's teachings.
Yeah. Anand, this question is how practical it is. So to forego our food and before going to work, or how can we be hungry and starving? And unless we put that, unless we satisfy our hunger and thirst, then only we can start concentrating and we can do work. That's how you are asking. I don't know the practical aspect, because they're all going to offices, and then right in the morning without breakfast or without this thing, you cannot go home. But what Swami means is, don't try to eat it in every unknown place. Don't go and eat in places which are not worthy of our presence there. So such places can be avoided, and best thing is make our own breakfast, make our own lunch boxes, and as far as possible at home, and take it to the places where you work. That's how one can put this into the. Some people it applies to, not all people. Those who go and eat everywhere and anywhere, that should not be done. That's what Swami is saying. You can add Sathya Sai Satish to this.
Yeah, yes, Auntie. I saw Brother Thasan's hand was up, so I thought maybe
Yes.
you wanted.
Okay, Sairam brother, Sairam auntie. Because the food is the one is going to, end of the day, is going to bring the purity in the mind and the body. So if you consume the food in the wrong place, and then you cannot expect the purity in your mind at the same time. And even the people who prepared, where did they buy the food, how they, whether even they can use the underage people to cook food. That's also not good. So Swami is emphasizing your food is very important. That is the one going to give the final your behavior. Even if the food is not good, and if you are consuming wrong food, and if you try to teach somebody, that is not going to, end of the day, is not going to be successful. So even if you go to a restaurant, if you go to the kitchen and you don't want to, that's what people say, you go and eat the food and come, don't go to the kitchen. We know what is happening in the kitchen. Then because then why don't you cook at home? You don't need to have 10 curries, 10 things, limited item, fresh food, and offer to the God, and you can consume that one. That will give you the purity. The reason is, then if you cannot control your tongue, then how can you control the rest of the items? Thank you, Saira.
Saira.
Sairam, brother.
The situation, sometimes we have to go and eat some places that we cannot eat there. At the time, we can do something that we offer the food to the Swami. And our mantra, that Swami's mantra, is there, the Paramatma. you can say that mantra and you can eat the food after that. Because if you offer the food to the Lord, the food comes changed into prasadam. No? So that's one way, I think. Saira.
Brother Tasan, your hand is still up. Would you like to say something additional?
Just Sairam, brother. One more thing, brother Rajaprabal mentioned, we can offer the food, whatever the food. That is sometime, in my opinion, you have to cook the food properly, and then only you can do the Brahmapanam. If you, it's some people say it doesn't affect me because my God is within me. I said the Brahmapanam. That is wrong, I think. Sairam. That's my opinion.
Sorry, anyone else has any other points to share? So maybe I'll just ask this question back to you, Sister Anandi. So I know you had made these vadas for the Rudrabhishekam yesterday. So in that context, I just wanted to ask you this question about the effort that went into it in terms of getting that item ready and in terms of possibly getting up very early in the morning and having all of that ready for all the devotees who came for that function yesterday. And I'm just stretching that to the thing that I think spirituality is definitely not for the weak, in the sense that, yes, Swami has given us the Brahmarpanam mantram to chant, but at the same time, I think what the extent we put in is the extent of the input defines the output. And so, yes, having food cooked at home on an early morning for every day of the working week before running to the office is a challenge because it has to be done both for breakfast and for lunch. But at the same time, if Swami is coming back to saying that food is the basis for everything, the question comes back to us in terms of asking how much importance do we give to the most important thing? And in this case, if it is food, then it comes down to, do I end up, it's more easily said than done. I completely agree on that part. It's more easily said that, okay, please wake up at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock every morning, Brahma Muhurtam time, and cook and have that for breakfast and lunch, which is the ideal way. And I know of why I say this is I had a few colleagues in this science fraternity, and back in Patti, when we had gone for a conference, this person carried food with him. And I was like, how come you can, like, he said, because he was carrying food for the 2 days with him, essentially to have there, because he didn't want to eat outside. And I was like, how are you able to do it? And he said, yeah, you have to plan for it in terms of how we have either like puliohara kind of a thing, which can last that kind of a time. So it is why I'm saying this is, it is not an easy cup of tea. It is going to be difficult. And it is the extent, because Swami will always keep seeing to what extent are we putting in the effort. The easiest thing would be like, of course, anything is coming in front of me. With my sincere feeling and complete acceptance, I chant Brahmarpanam and eat it. Yes, that solution Swami has given us. But Swami also sees to what extent are we going to discipline ourselves with the thing that I will ensure Paka Shuddhi, Patra Shuddhi, Padartha Shuddhi, and all of that. To what extent am I because the small things in life, like ensuring that this food is cooked properly, I think goes a lot way in terms of even the nishta while planning for the nashta. The planning for the nashta itself gives a lot of nishta in terms of how it needs to be done. And so coming again back to your thing on the practical aspect, I would say if you want to have that even done during the weekdays, it means that it comes down to waking up early in the morning and doing that extra bit, stretching that and doing it. And often it may be then how long, because I'll have to do it every day while it is possible on a weekend. What has to be done for the every day of the week? It is again coming back to how much can we give priority to a number one priority. So I would say that it is a tough thing, sister. There is no quick fix to it. And that we do have the Brahmarpanam mantram, but at the same time, even as we chant it, we will have to ask ourselves how to what extent have I gone to put the effort to ensure that I have followed the nishta while making the nashta. Sorry, it was a long-winded answer, but I'm just trying to say that there is no easy answer to this.
Thank you so much, brother, and all other brothers and the auntie. I understand that even how much the effort we put it, if we won't have our body, mind, intellect, or atma, everything to be uh, pure, then we have to go above and beyond in a certain extent. We have to try that one. So maybe Swami is telling that if you want to have the sattvic nature, you have to really put your time and effort above and beyond. And the we can in between in several levels, but that's up to us. Where where we want to go. Everything in our hand, and I thought maybe this sort of discussion would help some of us, how to how to practically apply, or
Yeah.
what we should be doing, or maybe avoiding eating outside. Maybe some places, if we can avoid, certainly we should be avoiding if we want to ensure our body, mind, the intellect and atma to be pure. Thank you so much, all the inputs.
Thank you, sister. And the other point is, I was just thinking, I don't know if it helps, but like if something like a quick grab on the fruits and those kind of like, can we like ask ourselves if we change our lifestyle in a way which accommodates more of directly eating raw fruits and vegetables kind, which lessens the time on the cooking and it is more natural in its state as well. So how, because I think, how do we make those small innovative changes in our lifestyle and how much of it can be adapted to a sattvic way of living? If that, yeah, because again, it has to be done on a day-to-day basis. That's where it is. Yeah, I think with Swami, it's always like we think we get to a certain level and then we will discover there's a lot more to do than what we have done to get to that point. So it keeps expanding and it's more of disciplining. And yeah, even Swami would pay a lot of attention. For example, when some of these guests would come to Prashanti Nilayam, Swami would have these take some of the boys to set their room, and Swami would say how neatly a blanket has to be folded and kept in the room of the person so that when they come, they can easily pull the rug while they are sleeping. Swami would show that part of how the setting needs to be done. And what Swami would always emphasize is if you take care of small things in life, the big things will automatically get taken care of. So we may think that something like food is a small thing, but I think it goes a long way. So I'm just trying to say how much of importance we give will define again. So I think and how much of time and effort are we trying to think through, okay, given that these limitations are there in my day-to-day thing, how do I plan so that I can have more of sattvic food or that kind of a thing, which will help us plan out. And I think more and more time we invest in thinking about it and striving to walk that path of spirituality, I think automatically God's grace comes in bounty to ensure we walk that thing, because it is it's that urge for us to keep striving which will keep us going forward. So it's a very valid question, but just how much can we innovate in that part to keep it in line with a sattvic way of living is what we have to see. Yeah. Right.
I think that's the excellent point. Some of the raw, the fruits and the
vegetables.
Yeah, that was the way the earlier way back our ancestors lived. The fruits and even in the I know that sometimes 21 days they go from northern part to southern part of Sri Lanka for some temples, and they never ever eat anywhere else. They will carry their food with them all the way to go and come back. They manage, and maybe we have lost those maybe the way of living, and now we are searching for that one. The fruits and some of the dry nuts and the dry food, homemade food, and that's the very practical point, Brother Sai said is, that we have to invent some of the ways to,
I'm sure most of you must be carrying your lunches and then to office wherever you go. Most of you must be doing that because, of course, it involves a lot of sacrifice. Early in the morning, you do your cooking and take it along with you, or it's easier way to have vegetables, cooked vegetables, or some kind of a roti which is made at home, and then you can come out with greater innovations. And instead of what Swami means he is, wayside hotels, there are so many hotels. I mean, eating places are plenty, even in Canada. Wherever you go, you see only those posters and then this thing saying that this is available, that's available. Don't just go and grab things just because you are hungry. Try to regulate that hunger, and then as far as possible, try to do things which you can do at home, and then where a clear and clean atmosphere is there. You can prepare your food and then take it along with you. In those days, I remember we used to travel by train from Bangalore to Delhi. It takes 2.5. It used to take 2.5 days. So how to do this? We would plan in such a way that pulihogara, that the bitter gourd, and such roti, or these we used to pack it and then take it along with us so that it lasts for the whole journey. So those days are gone now. Everywhere we find food and we can play. I mean, we don't take so much effort to do all the things. When food is available outside, why not we take it? That attitude has come to us. Now Swami is saying, whatever food you eat, it makes you your nature. Your behavior will depend on the food, whatever it is. So we can be careful in selecting, in eating such places where we can have food that's prepared in a very clean atmosphere. Maybe it's very rare. Anyway, Sai Ram. Anybody else want to give their opinion?
So, Saira Mandi, even if you buy the food from the restaurants and if you bring it at home and you leave it for 3 hours later, if you want to consume, you can see the big difference on the taste and everything. Only time if you want to consume right away is good taste. But when you cook the food at home, Even after 3-4 hours, it's going to be good. Thank you.
Yeah, that's correct.
Sandy,
Okay,
should we continue? Yeah.
Okay. Satish, Sai Satish.
Yes,
You want-
Sandy.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just saying if you should continue, Auntie. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Ahara and Vihara, food and recreation, are both very carefully regulated in the Gita. But little heed is paid to this teaching, nor is it considered so essential. There are people everywhere who swear by the Gita, who expound it for hours together, and who preach about it. But very few put its teaching into practice. The verses fill their heads, but they are powerless to meet the reverses, which with philosophical cheer. Ananda and Shanti can be secured only when food and recreation are cleansed and purified. Darkness and light cannot coexist. Kama, god of lust, and Rama cannot be in the same place together. They are like fire and water. How can one escape an evil reaction if the Gita is held in one hand and hot tea or coffee or a lighted cigarette or beedi or a pinch of snuff is held in the other? Some even justify their unregulated life by declaring that whatever is eaten, however eaten, wherever eaten, the stuff is rendered pure and acceptable on account of the raging fire of jnana which they have in them. How can a bitter fruit be transformed into a sweet one when it is dipped in the series of holy rivers? How can persons who simply speak on the Gita get saturated with the sweetness of its message? What really happens is those who listen to such hypocrisies lose even the little faith they have in our scriptures and become hardened disbelievers.
Okay. Let me read the Telugu one. Now, moderation in anything is welcome. That's what Swami is trying to tell in this paragraph. Ahara vihara mulandu. Recreation and food. Gita ati tivramuga kandinchindi. It's very specifically it says it should be both very carefully regulated. So adi evaru gamaninchutaledu. Nobody is looking at this or giving attention to it. Danini evaru pradhanamuga bhavinchutaledu. They are not taking it as a primary importance. అందువలనే ఎక్కడ చూచినను పఠించువారే ప్రబోధించువారే ఉండియు. Wherever you see, there are lots of people who speak about Bhagavad Gita and their messages and dani pavitrata, its purity, prapanchamana ఏమాత్రమును ఆచరణ రూపమున కనిపించట్లేదు. They talk about it, but when it comes to putting it into practice, it is nothing is same. శ్లోకములు కంఠమున చేరుచున్నవి. Verses, Bhagavad Gita shlokas, verses are just in their kanta. They have practiced, memorized it. Kani vari shokamulu kadupana vidichipokunnave. But their shokamulu, and means the what is it Swami is saying? The shoka here means only their sorrows and their griefs are still in their it's not leaving them. Ahara viharamulu dosha rahitamainappude, when this food and recreation, both of them should be blemishlessness, it should be faultless, then only you can ananda shantulu cheyakurunu, when you get ananda and shanti. Andakaramu prakashamu rendunu oke sthanamana undattuku veelledu. There is no place where brightness, darkness and brightness can be together. No, there is no place. Okay, unduttaka veelledu. Atlu undavu. It cannot be. Kamanuku Ramanuku pottu kudaradu. Where there is Kama, there is no Rama. Both of them cannot exist together. Vativi Neeru Nippu Sambandhama. It is just like fire and water. The relationship is between fire and water. Just like that, Kama and Rama cannot stay in one place, or brightness and darkness cannot be in one place. ఒక్క చేతిలో భగవద్ విషయం సంబంధమైన గ్రంథము. Some people hold it in one hand about Bhagavad Gita or some scriptures, grantham, the books, they will have it in your hand, and in another hand, very coffee, hot coffee, chai, cigarette, bidi, leka nashyam, that snuff. These will be in the other hand. ఏదో ఒకటి ఉంచుకున్న భగవద్భక్తి మరి మనస్సుకు ఎదురు తిరుగు ఏమగను. It cannot, the devotion to the Lord cannot come to them. What will happen to that? Ittivaru, such people, intadito agaka, they don't stop with it. Emi tinnanu, etlu tinnanu, wherever, whatever they eat, however they eat, wherever they eat, everything, they say, Gnanagnilo dagdamai basmapovanu. Oh, oh, I am gnani, in my gnana, all these faults will be completely destroyed and it becomes ashes. Doesn't matter whatever I eat, wherever I eat, because I'm a gnani. Some people say that. Ani tama tappulanu kappi puchukonanu. They want to hide their mistakes. They want to hide their faults. Chedu puchakai tirtha yatrala chesinatlu kondaru. Chedu
that bitter fruit, auntie.
That bitter fruit, yeah. But how can the bitter fruit be transferred? Kondaru prasanga prabodha yatralu cheyichundaru. They go on pilgrimages and say that we have become pure. Itti vari mithyacharam, their behavior, they simply talk about Gita, but they don't exactly. Mithyachara means they are practicing wrong things. I mean, mithyachara is mithya is delusion. They are deluded people. Chuchuta vinuta marinta nastika vadana balapadutaku karanamavutunnadi. So such people, when you see them, those who are practicing wrong ideas, so it enforces your nastikavada. This hypocrisy is leading you to become a nastika rather than getting into rather than becoming a astika. ఆహారమునే నిగ్రహించలేని వారు ఇంద్రియాలను మాత్రం ఎట్లా నిలుపగరు? They can't put a ceiling on their food. How can they control their indriyas, their senses? ఆహారమని అరికట్టి లేని వారు ఇంద్రియములను ఎట్లు? So how can they control their emotions? I think that's where I stopped.
Yes, auntie, the earlier line, yeah.
There one more paragraph is there.
Yes,
That
auntie.
just this.
I think Sakku auntie is having her hand up.
Yeah.
Yes. Sairam, I just need some clarity here.
Yeah.
A spiritual aspirant should not take or tea or coffee?
Not like that, Sakku auntie. It's not that. Everything in moderation. Everything in moderation. Ahara vihara. Krishna says the same thing in Bhagavad Gita. Swami is also same thing. Have a complete, a kind of regulated practices to eat or to drink, not to do overthink. I mean, things in an extreme way. Don't do that. That's what Swami is trying to tell. Without coffee, without chai, without this thing, who is going to stay nowadays? No, but everyone wants to have. We are so much addicted to these practices, right? Not only
addicted, yeah.
No, from even I think our past lives also are playing a lot of things. Vasanas are there in us. We go only for such things. So it cannot be avoided, but it requires lots of effort and sadhana, austerities and tapas to overcome such practices and then try to be under a great discipline. Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
Anyone else has any other points to share?
Auntie, the very first line, it says Niyama Viruddha Mulaina. What does that part mean?
Niyama Viruddha, against which is against the rules. Niyama means rules, regulations.
Oh.
Against.
So ahara and vihara, which are against the regulations.
Regulated actions. That's it.
Aruna, do you?
Okay, Sai Ram, Mama. Here's the thing. I just trying to understand what is that really Swami is referring with some even justify their regulated life by declaring that whatever is eaten, however eaten, wherever eaten, the stuff rendered pure and acceptable on account of raging fire of jnana. What is that?
Yeah. Those who claim themselves to be jnanis or realized persons or great persons, I know the truth. I have studied scriptures, I have known shastras, I know Vedas. Such people are there.
Yeah.
And those people say, oh, I can eat anywhere.
Yeah, that's the thing. What is that referring to?
My jnana, my realization, my knowledge about the Lord, my knowledge about all these things will burn. That the fire of knowledge will burn off all the faults which I do. They claim, that they are jnanis, and I have got that fire, knowledge of fire, which can burn anything. I mean, they take refuge in saying that, and I can do anything, whatever I want.
Yeah.
Did you follow, Aruna?
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
So that's not right. That's
not right. That's not right.
That's what Swami is trying to tell, right? Even though the jnanis are saying that, don't believe that, right? So as Swami said, the Ananda and Shanti can be secured only with the food and the recreation, means that's it. So you have to follow that. Because of these jnanis are saying you can eat or with dhya or jnana, that doesn't mean anything. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
They justify their action saying that I can eat anywhere, I can do anything, I can, wherever I want, I will go, I will eat. So such people who claim themselves to be jnanis, it is just justifying their unregulated lives.
Yes.
They don't have any unregulated lives.
You shouldn't rely on their words.
Yeah. And then that Kama and Rama, the story.
Exit. Yeah.
Sita wished for that golden deer. That's Kama, that desire came. And she forgot about Rama. That is why all the things, the whole Ramayana takes place, and Sita had to go through such misery. Because of the desire for that golden deer made her forget about Rama, who was beside her. Rama could have satisfied
more than the golden deer, which is she was running behind our
for a minute,
things. Yes.
She forgot about
the God, the Lord. That's good one.
So the Lord Cupid, Manmatha, is always ready to take you away and distract your attention. He's always there, ready. So Swami is saying that we have to be alert and try to avoid that thing.
Yeah. That's a good one, because some of the jnanis, some of the people say this and that. No, you can do that, you can do that. But always you have to have the discrimination based on what Swami has said. Food and recreation has to be pure and clean, that you have to keep it like that. Somebody saying that, you shouldn't follow that. Thank you.
And in the third paragraph, Swami is saying, those who go and then take bath in Ganga or Yamuna and then saying themselves, we are going to purify ourselves, even though we have done sins. How can it be happening? This bitter fruit can it be transformed into sweeter one if it is dipped in water, holy water? So Swami is saying that.
Yeah, we didn't come to that yet, but yes. Yeah, dip into that,
Holy waters, holy
Yes.
river.
Sairam, not the last class, the previous class, Brother Aruna mentioned something about that. The Sister Aruna mentioned that particular in the sentence, what it means. Some people they can eat or they can do whatever um, maybe they may not be strict as maybe the question it came maybe uh, I'm just thinking that some of the sadhus they will go and get the food from the different household and they will eat but the uh, for that sort of things I thought the not the last class, previous class, Brother Aruno mentioned, if you are a wildfire, anything, even someone put even water or the storm of the rain, everything it will be it cannot reach the wildfire, whatever you even put it, that would be the that would disappear kind of. But if you are a little lamb, you must be very cautious what your surroundings are, what you are coming to your side. So you must be a lot of you must take a lot of precaution. In this case also, I absolutely agree, Swami, what is telling that someone they would say I am a great the wisdom person. So even if I eat anywhere and even if I consume anything, it wouldn't harm me anything. But the up until that stage, the really, the jnana stage, we all should be very careful, and that sort of thinking I got it for that. Some even justify their unregulated lives by declaring that what is eaten, however eaten, whatever eaten, uh, still the stuff, it would be pure and acceptable, but we are not yet to that stage, wildfire stage, maybe we know, Lord Buddha and a lot of sages in the past, they just they ate whatever the other people they gave it to them. But still, because of the supreme state of wisdom, it wouldn't affect them. But we are not even the level one stage. But we should be careful all about Patra Shuddhi, Paha Shuddhi, and the Padartha Shuddhi, and all kinds of things.
Yeah. This that sentence only refers to persons who are already in an unregulated life. They are leading, and they claim that they know everything. That's we have Jnanagni, the fire of knowledge is with us. Such people, the hypocritic people, such hypocrites, Swami is speaking about. Such people who, when they say that, oh, whatever I do, it doesn't matter, it will be burnt to ashes because I have the Jnanagni. They claim they are not really are.
Yeah, we learned before also the pracharakas, right?
Yeah,
You have to have a discrimination who you are listening from, right?
Yeah.
So that's also something you have to be careful. Once it said we have to be careful with the food and recreation. That's we have to keep in mind until we reach to a level. Thank you, Sarah.
Just to add to that, I think because what Sister Anandi also mentioned, I think it comes down to the the extent of the Jnanagni which will truly demonstrate whether it can burn away. Like if you take gold and we throw it into fire, the fire melts the gold and the impurities go away. So for a true Jnani, when they are established in that nature of the Brahman, independent of whatever food they consume, the paka, anything concerning impurities of paka, patra, padartha, everything will get burnt away and only the pure thing gets assimilated. But if it is more on the lines of empty vessels make more noise, a person who is not in that state of being a jnani and just it is lip service that is happening, then of course it doesn't work out. So ultimately, I think it is coming to the, and generally it'll be seen that people who are of this spiritual nature, it's very difficult to find them as such. They will speak very less. The way they live their lifestyle itself is completely different. So if it is a person who is making an open propagation of this kind, saying that I can eat whatever, but I'm established in Brahman, then we will have to see the extent to which they live their life, because that itself will be a demonstration.
Yes.
Yeah. But an extreme stretch of this, I will also say, sister, is we know of that story when one person had to cross the river. He had to go and the river was in spate. And when he goes to one side, Lord Krishna tells him, tell that Krishna is Nitya Brahmachari and the river will give way and you can cross. And when he goes, he says that he crosses, he goes to the other side and there he sees Durvasa. He means he finishes his work, he has to come back. And then Durvasa says, tell that I am Nitya Upavasi and the river will part. And he very well sees Durvasa eating a feast there. And then, but he goes and says that to the river and the river parts and he comes back. So we should see the person who is making, literally like what you said, the pracharaka kind thing, to what extent they are living their life with established in that jnana agni. If they live their life, that itself is a benchmark to see whether what they say will come to happen. And when I'm giving the story, it is in the ultimate sense. We will also have to see from whom it is coming from. When you have like Lord Krishna saying, then again the same words that are used there should not become like, oh, but then how is like this person had that, but they are living in a particular way. So our mind can get into a judgmental space. So what I'm trying to say is, for us, we definitely need to hold on to as much as possible ahara and vihara and maintain our thing. And when we meet people of such nature, we will know whether they are speaking from the point of just from the lips or whether they have lived their life and are then speaking. So just adding that, Saira.
There are people with regulated lives and their great nanis also live, and then hypocrites also live. So we have to see from where this declaration is coming. As you said, the story of Krishna, he is Nitya Brahmachari in spite of having 1008 gopikas. And then that Vyasa, who is eating a feast there. But he says, I'm Nitya, what's Nitya? What's it, Satya?
Nitya Upavasi.
No, Nitya Upavasi. he can say, where with
What does Nitya Upavasi mean, please?
Upavas means the who follows
fasting.
This fasting.
Oh.
He says, actually, Vedavyasa, such a great scholar and such a great gnani, he can claim to be Nitya Upavasi because he knows the whole thing. And Krishna, Bhagawan himself, the Paramatma, and he can say, I am Nitya Brahmachari. But all cannot claim this, that is, it makes a lot of difference.
And when they speak, auntie, when like Durvasa says Nityopavasi, then so it goes down to Upavasi in being near, like Vasi and Nitya Upavasi. So he's
Closeness.
always near to God. So in that
Yeah.
angle,
Yeah.
he's saying, and for Krishna saying Brahmachari, Nitya, he is literally he is the Brahman who is doing the acharana of that. So the level at which they speak is also completely different, which we may get lost, but yeah, ultimately we need to see from whom it is coming. And I see
Yeah.
Sister Kalyani has her hand up.
Yeah, Kalyani.
Dasan uncle, you can go first.
Okay then. So, yeah, Sairam. Here, even the Durvasa, he said, I'd like to add a 1.2. Here, Durvasa said, I'm just offering the food to the Lord because jnanis, they don't have the taste of the food. So they don't have the desire. I need the food to be like this. So it can burn or they just eating to survive only. And they are not looking forward to the taste, the pleasure and the pain, and they don't care. Thank you.
Yeah, Kalyani.
Auntie, just that sentence about in the one hand having the grantham and the other hand having the coffee, cigarette, or tea. What is Swami saying? What will it happen? Edo okati unchukuna.
No, yedo okati unchukunna. One of them is in the one hand.
Bhagavad Bhakti Mari Manas Naku.
ఒక చేతిలో భగవద్విషయ సంబంధమైన గ్రంథము, a book which is related to the scriptures about Lord. మరొక చేతిలో వేడి కాఫీ, చాయ్, సిగరెట్ లేక బీడి లేక నశ్యము, ఏదో ఒకటి ఉంచుకున్న మీన్స్ టు కీప్ ఇట్ ఇన్ వన్ హ్యాండ్. భగవద్భక్తి మరి మనస్సునకు ఎదురు తిరుగక ఏమగును? How can Bhagavad Bhakti exist there? It will go against what that person is trying to project.
How can Bhagavad Bhakti exist there?
Yeah, how can Bhagavad Bhakti exist there when he is having, his attention is completely different. He's just holding a book in his one hand, and the other hand is having coffee or chai. So the attention is, first of all, the food is in his hand, and naturally I think a person will go to the food item rather than, it is all bogish. I mean, they are just bogus kind of persons who claim that they are great nanis and hold the book in one hand and then having bidi cigarette on the other hand. How can bhakti exist there? How can bhakti come there?
So Swami saying that's like the the addiction, or even for coffee or tea, that's kind of like the kama, and then Rama and the kama cannot exist.
Yeah, exactly. That's the reason. He is giving the example. Kama and Rama cannot go, and fire and water cannot exist together. Darkness and light cannot exist together. So also this cannot exist together. This holding the book and then having coffee and chai.
And just to add to that, I think if we look like to the North Star of how sages and saints lived their life, it's absolute single pointed attention, and that's where they would leave everything and go to the forest and seek that life of solitude, and it would run into, I don't know how many decades or centuries of penance that would ultimately help them realize God. So even as we go through our life in whatever manner, it is again reinforcing the focus and what is the ask of a spiritual seeker, which only, because if there are two things in hand, the attention is divided. And so every time it just comes back to a singular focus and the extent of prioritization of that focus, which ultimately grants, I think, the whole thing. So, yeah, it's more of constant reinforcement of what is the number one priority and what needs to be done to get to that number one priority. Yeah, brother Yoga Kumaran, I see you. Sorry, Auntie, you were going to say something?
No. Let Yoga
Yes,
Kumar.
Yes, Ram. I don't know, back home, I know the Jnani, he prepared food and left to the lake with a shishya. And then when the smells come in, he said, wow, nice food. All of a sudden, he threw all to make the rotis, he threw everything in the lake. And the disease come, he threw everything. Because they don't let the disease come into them. So just for the food, for the sake of the health. Otherwise, they don't want to take it like this. Now, those kind of jnanis are very good. They can go any far. They are diseaseless. Thank you, Sarah.
Sir.
So, Sairam Auntie, so that's what people say, practice before you preach.
Mm.
Thank you.
Yeah. And 4 more sentences are there. Can we go and then finish it off? The chapter is over. Only 4, 5 sentences are there. This one.
Let's go
How
ahead.
can a person, sorry,
Sorry. Who is speaking?
I can go. I thought someone was speaking. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, correct. Brother
How
Das,
can a
did you say anything? No, I don't think.
No, yeah, he was just saying to go ahead. So I think it's fine.
Okay. Sairam.
How can a person who feels helpless to restrict and regulate his food habits be trusted to restrict and regulate his senses? If he cannot limit and control his feeding, how can he limit and control his senses? Can the nose which falls down at a cough survive a sneeze? How can one who is too weak to climb stairs climb to heaven's heights? When a man is a helpless victim of coffee or cigarettes or snuff, how can he muster strength and courage to overcome the more powerful force, anger, lust, and greed? When he cannot renounce dirt, how can he renounce desire? Become master of the tongue, and then you can master sex. They are firmly interconnected as the eyes and the feet. I think Swami is telling us to quit coffee.
Yeah.
It's like sign to me.
Time to act.
If you can, Namrata, Narmada, if you can
Yes.
overcome that, please let me know. I will also follow you.
Okay.
Okay.
Auntie, not to quit the coffee, not to demand the coffee all the time. Yes, please.
Yeah, that's it. So everything is moderation, everything in regulation. That's what Swami is trying to tell us. Not that, that you live off everything, whatever you are drinking or eating for, for our survival, for our sustenance, we have to eat, we have to drink. Limit it in a person, restrict it. That's what Swami is trying to say.
One time is good. Is it one time good? The morning coffee is good.
I cannot say, Sakuji. I cannot say because I don't claim to be myself as a person.
How can we replace the coffee instead of coffee?
Yeah. If it's up to you.
But Swami said tea also before.
Hot water.
Hot water.
Hot water. Yeah, that I take in the morning, but
Is the Swami mention about tea also?
Yeah,
in the previous page.
Chai.
Tea and coffee.
Coffee, tea. Only hot water or jeera water?
No, whatever Auntie said, you had to take moderate food and,
No. Swami has been listed all the food or all the drinking items. Swami particularly listed tea, coffee means that's the one we have to try to avoid. That's how I would take it because Swami's words are matters. So
Yeah.
if other things, Swami didn't talk about it, right? So I would say.
So the question is, I think, whether you want Swargam or Trishanku Swargam. So if you want Swargam, then I think the answer is clear. If it's Trishanku Swargam, then okay, I think we can.
What is the other one, Brother Sai Satish?
Trishanku Sargam.
The one is Swargam, that is heaven. Other is Trishanku Swargam, right? We know about the story of Trishanku, where he.
Why don't you tell the story, please?
Oh my God, 4:31. So
Okay.
I'm just. Yeah.
With the story, we'll finish it.
In a shortcut thing, it is Trishanku is a king who wants to go with his body to heaven, and he tries different ways and means. He's unsuccessful. Finally, he comes to sage Vishwamitra, and Vishwamitra does a yaga, and he's sending Trishanku to heaven. But knowing the rules of heaven, you cannot come to heaven with a human body. So he's sent back by Indra and the other gods, and he's coming down. But sage Vishwamitra, to keep his word of sending Trishanku to heaven, he creates, using his tapobala or his penance, the power of his penance, he creates a heaven that is between earth and heaven. He creates a heaven where Trishanku is housed, and that is called Trishanku Swargam. So here, when Swami said about climbing the heaven's heights, do we want to go to that heaven, or do we want to get stuck with Trishanku's thing?
We don't want to go to the middle place.
Yeah, so you can define whether coffee, tea, or whatever you want to, and then plan accordingly.
I know.
Yeah, and maybe that. Yeah, I'll just leave it to Auntie. Auntie, you want to continue with the Telugu part and close, or?
No, we can close it, I think.
Anyway, Anna will be back the next time, so he can give added inputs, and then
he can do that.
Yes.
Anyway, now the English translation is here, so everybody, can the nose which falls down at a cough survive a sneeze? That's what Swami is saying. Anyway, so we'll close it with the Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Thank you
Jai
so
Sai
much.
Ram.
Thank you so much.